What's good, y'all? It's your boy Jay Goday, aka Jay the Developer, and we back at it with the real in you and the real in real estate. Alright, so let's dive into it. We're talking about the 3 top real estate strategies that you can use during COVID-19. Everybody trying to figure out how they can make money multiple different ways, but we're talking about how you can make money from home doing real estate investment during COVID-19. So it's 3 strategies, some of my favorite. First one, wholesaling. Second, house hacking. Third, fix and flip. So we're gonna run down all 3 strategies, talk about some pros, maybe some cons, and talk about how you can benefit from all 3 of those strategies right now during COVID-19. So we're gonna start with wholesaling. So wholesaling is just basically, you like the middleman. That's all it is. You are the person that strategically put a deal together. You brought a seller and a buyer together, particularly an investor, together and to meet on a common ground to buy a particular piece of real estate. So wholesaling is, I'm not gonna say it's simple, but once you get the gist of the formulas, it is simple. There's hundreds of real estate investors out there that do not want to look for property. They are the people that pretty much have the capital, that have the means to renovate a property, to buy a property and hold on to it. Those are the people that have, your big banks. So those people typically don't want to be out looking for properties, driving around, what they call driving for dollars, looking for deals. They rely heavily on the wholesale investor. And there's millions of dollars to be made in wholesaling, millions of dollars. And so typically what you have is you have an investor that you've built a relationship with. And this could be anybody. This could be somebody, this could be your friend, this could be your mom, this could be anybody that basically has some capital and they're looking to invest, but they don't want to do the legwork to find a property. So you have these people in what we call a database. There's just a list of contacts of people that you will bring deals to where you can close wholesale deals. Okay, so that's that side of the real estate transaction. Now, how does this apply to COVID-19? Easy. Right now, there's going to be hundreds of people that's out of work. Unfortunately, there's going to be people that's going to be in a situation where they may lose their homes. But the good part about being a wholesaler is that you have the opportunity to help somebody before they actually go through an event of foreclosure. And that was one of my best situations with wholesaling. Is when I would find when a seller would contact me, or somebody who had a property would contact me and they were on the brink of foreclosure, or they knew that they weren't going to be able to pay their mortgage, they was able to contact me, or they got my name from somebody, and they would contact me and say, look, I need to get from underneath this house. And the first thing that we would do, we'll go there and assess the home, run the numbers, find out if they owed any money on the house, if they owed anything at all, how much did they owe, so we could just run our numbers. So when it was time for us to put it in front of an investor, then we already had everything situated. Because that's the thing, before you bring it to your investor, you need to have all of the legwork done. All they need to know is how much they need to buy it for, how much renovations they need to put into it before to get it up to standard to where it's going to sell quickly, and how much they can sell it for, what their profit margin is going to be. That's all the investor wants to know. So by nature, you're the person that's going to do all that legwork for them, and you're going to get paid handsomely for it. So then on the other side of the transaction, when you have the person that in this situation, like we're speaking about our unfortunate situation of COVID-19, somebody that's basically on the brink of losing their home, you basically are able to act as their savior and come save the day and say, look, you don't have to worry about paying your mortgage next month, or not being able to pay your mortgage, or going through foreclosure. I have somebody that will take this deal and pay you cash for this house, or for this property, or whatever type of property it is. And that person hearing that, they're like, oh my God, you just saved the day. You know, I can do a quick sale, getting cash money, and I don't have to worry about this going on my credit. I don't have to go through foreclosure. That's a win-win, and that's what people in real estate look for. Real estate investors look for a win-win situation for everybody. Okay, so this is how you make money. When you bring that deal together from that seller and that investor, you get to get something called a spread, or they may call it a contract assignment, or they have a lot of different terms that us in the real estate world may call this transaction. But hypothetically, let's just use this for keepsake. This seller, they own a home free. I mean, they owe $10,000 left on their mortgage. That would be a devastating thing to get foreclosed and you owe $10,000. But anyway, they owe $10,000 left on their mortgage. They have no job, they have no means to pay this mortgage. They are at their wit's end. Now you come and you say, okay, I have done the numbers. You owe $10,000 left on this property. I will give you $20,000 for this property. And you go and you write a contract with them for $20,000. And in the contract, you let them know that I'm a wholesaler. I'm going to assign this contract to an investor that I have in my database. And they may not understand that language, but the language that they do understand is that they're going to get paid for their home and it's under contract. And this is the amount of days that's spelled out in the contract on when this transaction is going to take place. So you've done a contract with the seller. You're going to give them $20,000 for their home. You've already done the numbers. You know what the homes in the area are going to sell for. You know how much it's going to cost to renovate the house to get it all nice and pretty and beautiful and up to par as the other houses in the area that's selling really fast. You already done all of those things. You know what the ARV values are. You know all of those things. You run the comps, everything. You know, we'll get into those things in another video about ARVs and how to do comps and those things like that. But you've done all that, okay? So then you write a new contract. So remember, you're selling this you're buying this home for $20,000. They owe 10. You're buying it for them for 20, because what you're doing, you're giving them $10,000 in their pocket. So you're buying it for 20,000, right? So then you write another contract. You have this is under contract now. This home is under contract. You go to your investor with another contract with the same property, and you're selling this contract assigned to that property. You're selling it to your investor for $30,000. We're just gonna say sometimes it could be more, sometimes it could be less, but we're gonna say you're selling it to them for $30,000. Now, after your investor does their due diligence and they went through everything to check the property out to make sure that your numbers are concrete, your numbers are good, and then this is the thing, once you've built a reputation with your investors, they don't even have to fact check you so hard. But if this is the first time, they're gonna go through their due diligence to make sure that what you're giving them is accurate. So when this transaction is done, you've made a spread of $10,000, and all you did was move one piece of paper to the next, and you did some work in finding a deal. But once you've been doing wholesaling for a while, finding a deal is easy. You learn other resources to be able to help you find deals, and deals come to you. So that is a very, very good strategy, especially right now in COVID-19. Wholesaling. House hacking. Somebody like, what is house hacking? How the hell do you hack a house? Well, first time I heard that term, I already had done that strategy a couple times before I even heard that term. I never had used that term before. But house hacking is basically when you are owner occupant of a property, typically a fourplex or a duplex or maybe something bigger, but you're an owner occupant and you have used that property not only for as your primary residence, but to make money off of. That is one of my favorite strategies in real estate, is to become an owner occupant, get finance, traditional financing, FHA, conventional, where you're putting down 3.5%, and you're using that 3.5% down payment. Sometimes, depending on your income, I can get that down payment waived to where you get down payment assistance. You get in the property for free. So you get in that property, you occupy one of the units, the other units are being rented, and you're ultimately using that rental income to pay your mortgage. Which most of the time, I'm not gonna say most of the time, just about all of the time, because we're not even gonna go into a deal unless every single time you're making enough passive income on those rentals to cover your mortgage and some. So basically how it looks is that You're living for free. You're living for free. You're getting your tenants to pay your mortgage for you, and you have some cash left over. So that is a very, very good strategy, especially again right now during COVID-19. If you're out there looking for a house, why not look for a house that's gonna pay you money every month? Makes sense to me. So, house hacking. The third strategy, fix and flip. So this directly relates to our first strategy, wholesaling. The difference between this strategy and wholesaling is that instead of you taking this deal to another investor, you keep the deal and you do the investment yourself. So that same property that you found, somebody was about to foreclose, you paid them $20,000 for their property. Instead of you taking that contract and bringing it to somebody else, you go through your due diligence, you use your creative financing or your own cash, however you see fit, and you fix and flip the home. So that means that you have calculated the ARV, you know what the renovation costs are, you've done the comps, you know what the house is going to sell for, you know what your profit margin is after you have done your renovations. So instead of you bringing this property, this deal to somebody else, you keep the deal and you make the higher profit margin. Of course, like we said at the wholesaling, you're still making a good bit of money. You're making $10,000 and you have done very little work. But in this case, you doing the fix and flip yourself, you made profit $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Just depend on the situation and numbers in the market. So those are the three most effective tips right now in real estate investing during this COVID-19 crisis. I hope this helped you guys. I hope you're ready to get off the pot and start putting some things into action. It's your boy Jay the Developer. Remember, development starts with you. Peace.